Sure, they're levels of power, but what do they measure? Power levels. They are one of the first new concepts introduced to the series in Dragon Ball Z. A measurement made by the Frieza Force's scouters to determine which soldiers would be best suited to handle certain enemies. Less than 1,000. Let a foot soldier take care of it. 10,000, send Vegeta. 20,000, Zarbon. And so on. But what exactly do power levels measure? The total amount of ki in the body? Maybe, but the evidence doesn't seem to point that way. Take the Raditz fight as an example, since it's the first instance where power levels are used in determining a fight's outcome. If we believe that power level is the total amount of ki in the body, then no attacks can have a higher power level than the power level of the user. I'm sure most of you know where I'm going with this. Goku and Piccolo had power levels of about 400 without weights. If this was their total ki, then the Makanko Sappo and the Kamehameha should not have been as strong as they were. The Kamehameha was double the power level of Goku, and the Makanko Sappo was more than triple Piccolo's power level. So, how can a power level be the total ki of a fighter? Well, it can't be. How can your attacks contain more ki than you have? Well, unless it's the Spirit Bomb, it isn't possible. So power levels aren't ki volume, they're ki density. Or as I like to put it, ki per cubic inch. I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of it this way, but even if I am, it seems to be the only way to explain how certain attacks have a higher power level than the characters using them.
But your only proof is the Raditz fight, so you don't have any, continuous examples.
I hear you say.
So, what if this happened in the Raditz saga? It's an outlier, isn't it? Ki attacks haven't hurt stronger characters by being more ki dense past this point, have they?
Well, yes they have. Ten Shinhan's Shin Kikoho against Semi-Perfect Cell slightly damages Cell and even manages to keep him down for a considerable amount of time. Krillin's Kienzan has sliced the face of Nappa and cut off second form Frieza's tail, both characters being considerably stronger than Krillin at the time. A more recent example is Piccolo's Makanko Sappo, which he charged for an entire fight against Frost. This ki-dense Makanko Sappo was strong enough to break through the barrier made by Vados, something that Super Saiyan Goku couldn't do in his fight with Frost. Now, Super Saiyan Goku was suppressed, but this move was also meant to take out Frost, who was considerably stronger than Piccolo. Now, it seems I've run into an obvious issue. How does the Scouter measure the power level of people? How could suppression work? If suppression is holding your ki inside your body, that lowers your power level, even though, in theory, your power level would be higher. Pulling all your ki inside would make you more ki dense. When making this theory, I had trouble justifying this. First, we have to understand what ki is in the Dragon Ball universe. Akira Toriyama has stated that ki is made up of 3 components: energy, courage, and mind. To me, this means that ki is metaphysical, and is something the user always has, unless trained to call upon it and dismiss it at will. Obvious examples of this are littered throughout the entirety of the Saiyan and Frieza sagas. So, for ki density to be dropped below your body's maximum, a fighter must train to be able to call upon ki when it is needed, and dismiss it when not. The fighter's power level will never reach 0, but can, in theory, be as low as 1 if trained well enough. To do this, a fighter relaxes their body to the point where their ki releases, which lowers the ki density of the fighter's body. Where it goes isn't what we're questioning here, but I'd bargain it just disperses into the surrounding air, and creates the amount that they usually keep in their body when they need it. Look at Goku versus Jason Birder. Goku constantly lowers his power level to 5,000, so that his true strength is only used in bursts. We've seen suppression as needed numerous other times. Vegeta getting blasted by Krillin on Namek, Goku getting shot with the ray gun during Resurrection F, and the bullet scene in the beginning of the Universal Survival arc shows how much a trained fighter can suppress themselves. I cannot fathom why having your ki inside your body, which is the general idea of suppression in the fandom, would make you weaker. That contradicts not only what we've seen in Dragon Ball Z, but also what we've been explicitly told in Dragon Ball Super. The theory also works for detection, because if there is a lot of ki in a small area, like a body, then that ki density notifies those who can sense ki that there is a person with a large power. So, the population of an entire planet may have as much ki as Krillin, but we wouldn't sense a planet and get confused because we can tell that it's more than one person. I know this sounds obvious, but I haven't ever heard someone explain it as ki density. It can't be ki volume that creates concern when sensing power. It has to be how much power there is per cubic square inch. It has to be ki density. With everything shown of scouters and power levels, this is the only explanation that I've been able to come up with. So to me, it seems obvious that power levels are ki density. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and subscribe if you want more Dragon Ball videos. But for now, video outro!